Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders in today's video. So I know, man, in OTAs, everybody looks good. All the QBs look great. All the rookies look phenomenal. Las Vegas, man, it's no different. I love what I'm seeing specifically out of Aiden O'Connell. You got guys like Dylan Lobby out there just really putting on, really getting the coaches on his side. And at the end of the day, folks, the Raiders are just a really good team. According to Deshaun Reed, the Raiders are getting both Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew plenty of work with the starters during OTAs. Have to figure that'll continue into training camp until one of them separates themselves. It's been a good day for the defense today, regardless of who's been at QB. So my 2 points really here. The Raiders defense, very good. The Raiders quarterback room, very good, very competitive, very deep. Now, following the mid-season coaching change in week 9, where they fired Josh McDaniels and hired interim head coach, now head coach Antonio Pierce, the defense allowed only 16 points and less than 230 passing yards per game. It also produced 14 turnovers in that span, which was more than what it produced the entirety of the prior season. So defensively, I'm looking at these things and I love it. You picked up Christian Wilkins, the best Raiders move probably in the entire offseason, one of the best moves in the NFL in the entire offseason. But just in general, you don't see too many new starters. You see some depth players, and they're mainly rookies, right? DeCamerion Richardson, Tommy Eichenberg, 2 brand new fresh draft picks. You got Trey Taylor back there. We'll still see, which rookies end up making this roster as the time goes on. But we're going to talk a little bit. Tyree Wilson looks phenomenal. We're going to talk about the Raiders, OTAs, and just team in general in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily Raiders and NFL content. If we could try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the world to me. So, the defensive line, we've been saying it time and time again on this channel. The defensive line last year, once Josh McDaniels was fired, week 9, even without Christian Wilkins and even with a struggling Tyree Wilson until he was moved to the interior defensive line as opposed to the edge, it was still a really good unit, and they were getting to the QB, and it was forcing turnovers, whether it was strip sacks, whether it was just sacks in general, whether it was interceptions. The defense was just making plays. And we're looking at Malcolm Kuntz, who just completely broke out, especially when Antonio Pierce came into town. You had Tyree Wilson, who's poised for a great bounce back sophomore campaign. Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby gives opponents not as much ability to double team. You can't really double team Max Crosby every single play like you maybe have been in years past. The linebacker room looks solid. Robert Spillane, Devon Diablo. But it comes down to quarterback, in my opinion. And I saw this interesting headliner. The Raiders have one of the most expensive wide receiver rooms in the NFL. A recent tweet by NFL analyst Warren Sharp shows that the Raiders are currently slated to spend $42.1 million at the wide receiver position this season. It is on pace to be the 6th most expensive wide receiver room in the league this year. So, I look at guys like Jacoby Myers, who had just a little over 800 receiving yards last year. Devontae Adams. You got new addition, just a dynamic threat, playmaking beast, long-term, short-term, right away, generational potential talent in Brock Bowers. We're going to pair him up with Michael Mayer heading into year 2. Trey Tucker's heading into year 2. You picked up Michael Gallup for a little bit of extra bodies, a little bit of extra veteran depth at the wide receiver position. You snag JPJ, who's going to be your new fresh left guard. And you got 2 great tackles, specifically Colton Miller at the left side of things. Everything's coming together. And so it's no surprise to me that Aiden O'Connell are, battling, because it's OTAs. These are literally voluntary. We're not going to know pretty much any information up until training camp, and we probably won't even know information until preseason week 1. And honestly, Antonio Pierce is probably just going to run with Aiden O'Connell unless he actually loses the job to Gardner Minshew. He said time and time again, the job is Aiden O'Connell. But one big player who's poised for a huge season, entering his 3rd year, is running back Zamir White. So Zamir White, Josh Jacobs had a horrible season, guys. He had just a little over 800 rushing yards, which doesn't sound horrible considering he missed the last 4 games or so. But he averaged 3.5 yards per carry. Zamir White stepped in and did a phenomenal job. The dude was, you remember Kansas City Chiefs Christmas Day, he ran for 146 yards. He pretty much single-handedly won the game offensively. The defense, really won the game, but Zamir White sealed it. And just gave the Kansas City Chiefs a great Christmas present. But last year he averaged 4.3 yards per carry. And it's funny because right before Josh Jacobs got injured, we didn't see too much of Zamir White. I feel like he was just not really used properly. The offensive line was going through some issues. But once Zamir White, and people were talking about cutting him. People were talking about maybe he won't make the Raiders roster this upcoming season and that they'll look for a rookie running back to pair with a veteran guy. They end up going with Alexander Mattison, and they end up giving Zamir White RB1 duties because of the final month of the season that he had. So the running back is the quarterback's best friend along with your offensive line. And I've got to say, I like the way Zamir White looks at camp. I like the way he played in the final month of the season. And I saw a tweet here from Levi Edwards. What does Zamir White want to improve at the most? He said this: everything, catching the ball, running the ball, making guys miss one-on-one. I want to be the very best I can be at. People forget it. At Georgia, he was not a full-time starter. He ran in his final 2 seasons at Georgia 11 touchdowns in each season. So dude's a great red zone threat. He's a big, strong body, a little over 215 pounds. But I'm anticipating a huge year from Zamir White, no matter who's going to be the quarterback. And I got to say, and I feel like Raiders fans are coming along to this. But Raiders fans have already come along to, Aiden O'Connell being the starter, and you got, a potential bridge guy there in Gardner Minshew if he ends up winning the battle. But it's finally picking up in NFL media world that, you know what, the Raiders quarterback room really isn't that bad. All you need, with this offensive line, right, with Luke Getsy as your new offensive coordinator, with the one of the most expensive wide receiver rooms in the NFL, 2 good running backs, 2 great tight ends, 2 really good tight ends. All I need is above average play at the quarterback position. I need them to keep it clean. I need them to continue to move the chains. I need them to throw some darts. That's Aiden O'Connell's specialty. They just need above average quarterback play to be a winning team. Now, I just saw a tweet, the last AFC West winners, the Raiders weren't on it. In fact, the tweet even said, keep in mind the Raiders are in this division. What does suck is the Kansas City Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes, but I'm really hoping Aiden O'Connell can blossom into this franchise QB here. New head coach Antonio Pierce spoke of his commitment and dedication to Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. He said this: I'm excited. I mean, what Aiden O'Connell did the last 4 games and from what he's done this offseason, changing his body, his work ethic, being here every day, blocking out the outside noise, not worried about anything. I'm excited. And then you bring in Gardner Minshew in here and listen, you talk about personality. I know you guys interviewed him. It's great. It's great for a building. It's great for a quarterback room. So Gardner Minshew is a really solid quarterback. But once again, I fully anticipate Aiden O'Connell to ultimately end up winning this camp battle once we get into training camp in about 2 months from now. So I'm feeling good, man. Give me a win-loss projection on paper, no matter, even though we don't know who the starting quarterback technically is going to be. Give me a win-loss projection for this Raiders team. I'm going to just pencil in. This is just a pencil in. I'm going to pencil in 10-7 here. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more throughout the entirety of the offseason. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. You know the deal. Drop that comment. We'll see you soon.